Hey y'all, let's make a zippered crochet pouch. Y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name's Felicia, and today we're just going to do a really quick tutorial on how to make a crocheted zippered pouch like this. And I've made a pouch like this before on my channel, probably about 4 or 5, maybe 6 years ago now, where it was simple. I still actually have it. Looks like this. It's a simple pouch just like this one is. However, this one that I created a while back actually has a it's yucky on the inside, but it has a liner. So if you're interested in knowing how to put a liner in this, I do have a tutorial on my channel showing you how to do that. However, you will need to be comfortable doing a single crochet stitch and a half double crochet stitch. So if you're comfortable doing those 2 stitches, which I won't go into great detail here, but I will go slow enough in the tutorial where you're probably going to be able to catch on, but it would be helpful if you know how to do a single crochet stitch and a half double crochet stitch, okay, in order to do this. You will need a few items in order to complete this project. You'll need obviously, you'll need a zipper. I'm using a 7-inch zipper for this bag. You'll also need any hardware that you want to put on, any embellishments that you want to put on the bag. And then additionally, you'll need just your basic crochet hook that's going to go along with your yarn. And I used an acrylic yarn. So you can use cotton if you want or anything you want, but acrylic tends to hold up. On my channel, sorry, I do show, I'll have a written tutorial on how to do this bag here. A little bit different. This one's going to be much more straightforward. That's what we're going to learn in the tutorial, but then I'll have a written pattern if you want to know. Two-tone effect on the bag. It's not hard, just the pattern's already written if you want to see it over on my channel. So that's it, guys. Let's go ahead and get started. I'll show you how to make a crocheted zippered pouch. Okay, so I used Brava Tweed, which is a worsted weight acrylic yarn. You can, like I say, use whatever yarn you want. Just make sure you get the corresponding crochet hook. I used a regular standard black nylon zipper. This is a 7-inch zipper, so that is up to you too, whatever kind of zipper you want to use. And then I also used a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. So let's get started by making ourselves a slip knot and placing that on your crochet hook. Okay, now once you have the crochet hook and the slip knot combined, you will then just do a chain of 28. Now in this case, it's 28 because of my zipper size. So if you choose to make a bigger bag or even a smaller bag, just make your foundation chain the same length or just a little bit longer than your zipper. And again, it's going to stretch some. So I made mine pretty close to the same size as my zipper, and then as you create the little crochet fabric, it will stretch a little, so just keep that in mind. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and you'll do that until you get the desired number, which in this case again is 28. See there? Okay, so now I'm going to start with my first row, and the first row is going to be just a row of single crochet stitches. And I do the single crochet stitch in this row because it makes it easier for me to be able to attach the zipper. So I want a little bit more closer together stitching. So single crochet in that very first stitch closest to the hook, and you're going to do this all the way down the foundation chain. And I'm just on camera and trying to get it as close as possible so that you can see where I'm placing my crochet hook. Yeah. So while this is really a project for my beginners, you do want to be comfortable doing a single crochet and a chain stitch as well as a half double crochet. So if you know how to do those, you should be able to do this with ease. And really, you can probably skip forward to the pattern, which is towards the end once you understand this part. Okay, so you see right there that stitch. If you pull it apart a little bit, you'll be able to see where you need to place your crochet hook a little bit easier. That's just my little tip when I'm trying to work back through the foundation chain, because it can be a little tricky. And one tip, if you want to use a larger crochet hook to create your foundation chain, it might be easier to work back through with the crochet hook that you're using for the project later. So maybe a 7 or 8 inch crochet hook might make the spacing a little bit larger and easier for you to work through. So anyway, pause the video, keep working. You're going to do a single crochet in every stitch all the way down that foundation chain. Okay, so here we're at the very end of the row, and I just want to show you how we end it. Okay, right there. Okay, and that's that. Now we're about to start row 2, and this is where we change to a half double crochet, and we'll carry this all the way through. So chain 1, turn your work. Now that chain 1 is not going to count as anything. We're still going to work in that very first space of this row. So in some cases, the chain 1 could count as a stitch, but in this case, because I want everything to stay nice and even, we're going to not even use that chain 1 for anything. It's just an anchor. It's going to get us to the next row. And now we're going to do half double crochet stitches. So in that very first space, you're going to do half double crochet. All right, and the next stitch over, you're going to do a half double crochet. So yarn over, insert your crochet hook into the stitch, pull back through, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops. And that's a half double crochet. And again, just like with that first row, if you can't really see your stitch work, go ahead and pull your work a little bit, and the hole becomes a little bit more easier to see, and then work back through. Okay. Again, just yarn over, insert your crochet hook into the next stitch, pull back up the loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. Okay, and I'll stay on camera here just a little bit longer so you can catch it, because all you're going to be doing is half double crochet stitches for the next subsequent rows. Okay, so you want to pause your video and then keep working. And I'll just stay on screen just a little bit more, just so that you can see how to do the half double crochet, because this part is really important, because for the next 28 rows or so, this is all you're going to be doing. Okay. All right. So once you've completed row 2 through row 29, this is what it will look like. And you see this area right here, that's going to be where your pouch actually is. If you want it to be a little bit more depth to it, then just make this a little bit longer, make more rows. Okay. So to finish this off, because again, this is what I wanted mine to be, this measure. I have the finished measurements in the description, but this is the size I was looking for. The way we're going to finish this off is just with a single crochet row. So we started it with a row of single crochet stitches, and we're going to end it with a row of single crochet stitches, because again, the top and the bottom are basically going to meet, and that's what we want them to be, mirror each other. Okay, so row 30, you're going to do a chain 1, turn your work, and then you're going to do a single crochet stitch in that very first space, and then continue doing single crochet stitches all the way down this row. So you should know how to do that now, because we did that in row 1, and we're just doing the same thing in row 30. Okay, so just pause and keep working, and then we'll meet back at the end here of the row. All right, so here at the very end, you're going to just do a single crochet stitch here. Okay, and now we're going to finish off. Basically, that just means you're going to tie a little knot at the end and leave yourself a nice long tail. I did, I believe, a 20-inch tail. It could have been a little longer, but just leave yourself a tail, because then this is what we'll use to sew the bag together on the edge, and then we'll attach another tail of yarn at the other end to secure the other side of the bag. So I did about 4 times the size of the bag when it's folded in half. Okay. So here you're just fasten off, basically just tying, you're acting as if you're going to do a stitch, but you're not. You're going to pull that tail all the way through, and that creates a little knot at the end of your project. Okay, now we're ready to attach the zipper. I didn't mention this earlier, but some glue would be helpful. Anything temporary, Elmer's glue, fabric glue, hot glue gun, just to kind of keep the zipper in place. And then I have a sharp needle that I'm using. I got this little needle set from the Dollar Tree, but just want something that's going to be able to go through the edging of the zipper, and I'm just picking a sharp needle there. You want to fold your crochet fabric in half, and this is what actually makes your pouch. And you're going to sandwich the zipper in between the flaps, or between the crocheted fabric. Okay, and it doesn't matter which way you put the zipper, because you will obviously open the zipper any way you want to once the bag is constructed. So just sandwich the zipper in between, and you're going to attach the bottom part of the zipper to the front flap, and then the back part of the zipper to the back flap. And it looks something like this. See there? And I've already glued this down. It just makes it easier to sew, okay? So you want to make sure that you glue it down in a way that the fibers from the yarn don't get stuck in the zipper teeth. So just kind of play with it a little bit and make sure that you get it in place. I'm using a temporary adhesive. I really didn't like this spray that much. I think Elmer's glue or some kind of fabric glue would have been a little bit more directional, and you wouldn't have made as much of a mess. But use whatever you have, and if you don't even have glue, you can just use pins to keep it in place. That works too. So you see what I'm doing there? I'm just literally placing the zipper in between. I'm going to spray the bottom edge here, just so that I can attach it to the zipper. And as you can see how it gets a little bit messy, and it wasn't a problem. It's a temporary spray, so I was able to use wet rag to get it to wipe up, to make it clean. I'm sorry. Okay, just getting everything out of the way, and I'm just trying to show you how I finagled it or play with it a little bit to get it in place the way I wanted. And again, this is just temporary. So honestly, if you thought about it, this would be complete. But because you know the wear and tear of a bag and a zipper, the zipper function of a bag, you want to be able to use this. So that's why I say go ahead and sew it down with thread and needle. And if you have a sewing machine, you can sew this on the sewing machine as well. It's just as easy for me to show you how to do it by hand, but you could also sew this on the sewing machine. And I'm going to sew along that side right there, and just be careful of the zipper, and then you'll sew along with the other side. Okay, and for here, like again, I just used the same kind of needle, and then I had this nylon sewing thread. You can use an all-purpose sewing thread. You don't have to have the nylon one, okay? So I'm just measuring this out, maybe 4 times, 5 times the size of the bag, and then I'm going to get to sewing. And I don't sew on camera, guys. It's a little easier for me to just have it closer to me and be able to sew and not have the camera in the way. But I'm just kind of showing you how to get started. Okay. And with it being already tacked down, it makes it so much easier. You don't have to worry about the zipper moving all about while you're trying to connect it to the crochet fabric. So there you are. And I just started from the inside, and I'm going to sew out just so that way the little knots and things are on the inside of the bag. And this is just my crude way of sewing. And just attach it however you want. The catch here is you want to try to get yourself thread that matches your crochet project so that it doesn't stand out so much, unless you're like a phenomenal sewer and you wanted it to be a part of the design, which you could do too. See? And having a sharper needle. This is a leather needle, I believe. But having a sharper needle makes it a lot easier to push the thread through and create the stitch. And you're going to do that all the way down, just like this, and all the way to the other end, and then you're going to do the other side. And this probably was the most hardest part of this project, is attaching the zipper, only because I don't typically sew yet. Not the best sewer, but that was probably the hardest part. Okay, now go ahead and grab yourself your yarn and needle, and we're going to go ahead and close up this bag and this pouch, and that way you're ready to use it. So I'm just kind of getting all of the little tails and things out of my way. And I'm going to use a clip to do that. You can also just cut it if it's, you know, in the way. I didn't know what purpose I wanted it to serve at the end of my project, so I kept those little tails. But just get them out of your way so that you're able to sew all the way down. And remember, we left that 20-inch tail. So at this point, we're going to use that same tail and we're going to sew down the raw edge of the bag. See, like that. And I did down, I went all the way down to the end and then I went back up. That way I had a nice secure spot. And I tried to get as close to the edge as I could. And I also made sure that I went through the stitches. You can go over or you can go the way I'm doing it. If you go over, it just kind of makes it have a little edging. And if you want it to just go through like what I'm doing here, it looks more, I guess, finished. But it's up to you. It's all preference and how you want to get the bag sewn together. Okay, and I think I stayed on camera just a little long here so that you could see what I'm doing. But essentially, you'll do that down and then you'll go back up again. And then I just tied my two ends together. And then I'm going to weave those tails in and then secure it with a knot. So that way the bag doesn't fall apart. Okay. I didn't realize I stayed on camera that long. Okay. So that's the bag sewn together. I did the same thing to both sides. I just attached another piece of yarn and then I sewed down and back up again. And that's what the bag essentially looks like. It's super easy, cute. You can use this for makeup, pencils, sewing notions, whatever you choose. I added my little embellishments on there. This bag here I will have as a free pattern over on my website if you want to get how I actually created the black bottom. Wasn't hard, but the pattern is already written if you want it over there. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section down below and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.